An interesting day. It's a weird one. So today, 11/9. Happy. At least there's no more political propaganda. Regardless of your view on the outcome, at least there's no more commercials. So now, if you were watching last night, I was watching NBC, and what was weird was, like, they went to go from the local feed to the national feed. You know, like, NBC kind of switches from, like, our Columbus people to, like, you know, the people in New York or whatever. And the screen went black. So there was no sound, there was nothing on, but at the bottom, the ticker was still going with all the, like, local elections. And this was Coshocton County, which is why I cared about it, because it was Coshocton County. So it was, and I don't have the other picture pulled up, but it was, you can't really see it very well. It's a fire township, like voting for giving money to the fire department, obviously. Giving money to the fire. So my question is, what's not quite right here? Because there was nothing else going on, and I was just watching the ticker tape, all of a sudden, and my sister was over, my mother-in-law was there, and I, like, leap out of my chair, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I grab the remote, and I DVR and I rewind, and I was like, guys, and they, like, didn't see it for a moment, and they're, like, judging me hard. But I was like, do you see what's on the TV right now? What's wrong with it?
They spelled percents wrong, and it's 200%.
That's not percents, actually. Funny enough, so precincts is, like, the section where you go vote.
Okay,
So, like, my precinct is essentially my neighborhood and a few other neighborhoods right by us. But
it's 200.
200%. How could 200% of a population vote? That's impossible. So I kept watching, and, you know, was interested in the things. And you guys will be of voting age here before you know it.
Yay. Yeah.
If anybody ever tells you that your vote doesn't matter, Michigan had a difference of 71 votes. Now, this was not the end. This was after 12% of their precincts were in. 71, though. I don't care about who's taken the vote and what. Like, we're not talking about the politics. We're talking about the math. 71 people. Now, look at how many votes had been cast. 282,000. So we're talking about over 500,000 people had voted in Michigan. And there was only a difference of 71.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
This shows how close it is and how important it is to go vote. People will say, oh, my vote doesn't matter. It won't change anything.
Yes, it will.
500,000 people had voted, and less people than our 7th grade class was the difference between the candidates. And when, like, with the democracy that we have, when it's you take it all or you take it none, 71 votes one way or the other gets all of those 16 electoral votes. When Michigan went, all of its electoral votes went.
Yeah, this
Sean?
This wasn't the problem. Sometimes like electoral votes don't even listen to it, and they just choose.
Very rarely. That can happen, but it's very rarely.
It was like this one person was there talking about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Like
Hoover?
this morning, they hadn't called Michigan yet when I got up.
Yeah, because it's really close.
Yeah, wait, have they yet?
I don't know. I didn't watch the news this morning. I chose not to.
Oh, so wait, was this the?
This was after 12% of Michigan's precincts had, like, reported in. So this was not much, like, not very much of the state. But, like, I just snapped this picture because 71 votes. That's crazy. That's, like, ridiculously close. Now, so I continued watching. And then, what the crap? 2,000! 200, like, so somebody probably got in trouble because they were doing their job very poorly. This is not anything about whether or not the election was proper. This is just NBC had some issues last night. NBC was trying to do way too much at the same time, and our local NBC are the people that were doing this.
Hudson, I love your reaction. What the crap?
Yeah, like, so again, I leapt out of my chair, grabbed the remote, rewound the TV. So somebody typed this in wrong, probably, but the decimal point is very important where it goes. Even if their decimal point was here, it would still be wrong. It would still be 220. So I don't know if they meant 22% I don't know if they meant like 20% and actually typed each number to like. I don't know what they meant, and this was again Coshocton Fire. It was a different county. It was Jackson instead of Knox. But I was like, dudes, what are you doing in Coshocton that somehow you have thousands of percents of, like, this is impossible. It made me laugh a lot, even with all of the other outcomes being stressful and close. And this brought a little bit of light into my, because I'm sitting there thinking nobody else probably noticed it. Like, so I posted it on Facebook and I was like, guys, what? Julie? I don't know. I wasn't even paying attention. Well, I was paying attention to the presidential thing, but this blew me away. Like, that I cared about more than... Because once I vote, you know, I can't... There's nothing else to do.
The only thing you notice is the percents.
Well, and I was watching these because it's Coshocton, and I care about, like, what's going on in back... Because I'm from Coshocton.
What would be really bad is if they purposely typed that in knowing that they don't know, like, anything about math, and they were just being, like, dumb.
Well, yeah, and so who watched some of this stuff last night? Did you see when they would have percentages here, and then they would say that 0% of precincts had reported? That really probably just meant that they didn't change it, because you can't calculate percentages of yes and no if nobody has reported their votes, if there's no votes to count. Now, the other thing that could have happened is that could have come from like pre-voting, voting ahead of time, like absentee ballots. So they could have said that 0% of the precincts for that day were reporting yet. But, like, I don't, did my 71% one, not, or 71. So here, 60% of their precincts had reported. So in Pickaway County, 60% of the people that were able to vote for that issue, the treasurer of Pickaway, 60% of those votes had come in at that point. So that's sort of the math that we were watching.
I feel bad for Gary Johnson. He only got like 4.4.
Actually, he did pretty successful getting that much of the vote. So obviously he's not, you know, anywhere close to winning, but that was pretty successful for a third-party candidate. All right, so tomorrow. I know, how many of you are going to be gone for the band trip? You're here today because the orchestra's gone, but then you're gone. Okay, so tomorrow when we have the guest teacher here, and I believe I'm going to California for a wedding. My friends are getting married. So, tomorrow, you guys are going to start working on the Chapter 3 Mastery. So there's no new homework for 3-7. It's just wrap up that 3-5, 3-6 homework. Obviously, I'm not going to be here to check if your homework's done. Everybody's taking the mastery. But then, if you get done with the mastery, and I got to freeze this for a second because my email is still up.
Let's see. Can we?
No. There's really nothing really. If you want to see the conversation about whether or not we take away break.
Yes.
Mr. Cabilo read that to you. That was the email. Like, he read it to you. But that's the only important thing going on right now. So in Schoology, once you get done with the Chapter 3 Mastery, we're going to be moving into Chapter 7 after this because we've done 4, 5, 6 already. So once you're done with Chapter 3 Mastery, and this will especially matter if you're here tomorrow and Friday, you're going to get done with the Chapter 3 Mastery and then you're going to be bored. So then, and I meant to move this folder up already. There is a folder in here just titled Friday, November 11th. Yeah, that will be Friday. Friday, November 11th, 2016. So go here, and there will be some Khan Academy activities to work through. This is like not required, not for a grade, but when you're done with the mastery, so you can get a jump start on what we're doing in Chapter 7, go into that folder. There will be some links and activities on Khan Academy to go work on. So if you can help communicate that, I've got that in my sub plans, like the subs should be aware of that, but if you can help communicate that to your peers, if they get done, they're like, what do I do now? If you have work for other classes that you have to do, you may, but you need to be working. So if you have nothing else to do, work on these Khan Academy assignments.
What do you mean by check the news on Monday if I'm not here?
So California is an area where there's lots of earthquakes very often. So I was trying to make a joke. Check the news for any earthquakes. Like, if I don't come back, it's a joke. My jokes aren't very funny. My jokes aren't very funny. I'm sorry. But seriously, so there's a fault line that runs through California, the San Andreas Fault. And if there's a big enough earthquake, people, like, and these are very like, oh my gosh, the people that like to freak out about things, say that potentially California could break off and like float away, which it's not. I sure hope I'm never proved wrong on this, but I really don't think that could happen. My what? Well, this is not meant to be funny, like that it would, but they are, like, people watch this a lot because that fault line, when earthquakes happen, like tectonic plates move and you could literally just, a fault line could open up and you could be swallowed into the earth. Like, that doesn't really happen, but that's what people like to, like, oh my gosh, earthquakes.
Please don't die, Mr. Hudson.
I don't plan on it. I'll probably get injured by something dumb before I would ever get injured by something big. You know, like stubbing my toe on my fireplace, that sort of stupid stuff. So, if we are going to go to a stock car race, let's focus and do some math, and then maybe we can do some mind trap at the end. So you bought 2 tickets to the stock car race, and yesterday we started picking apart this problem right at the end of class.
I didn't do any of it.
You paid a total of $38.50. Now that total is both of the tickets that each cost $17.25, and then an online service fee. Give me a highlighter again. An online service fee. What we want to figure out is what was that fee as a percent charge per ticket. So as a percent rate per ticket, what was the fee? So if you've ever gone to a concert or anything like that, excuse me, you've probably paid a service fee. Your parents probably. So let's say I go to a concert and the ticket's $20. When I go to buy my ticket, I don't pay $20. I probably pay $23.50 or something stupid like that. They increase your price for a service fee because they've provided you a service. They've like sold you a ticket. I have complete and deep opposition for the fact that like just make the ticket price whatever it's gonna end up being, like with the service fee involved. But they don't. You have a ticket price and then an extra fee. So if we want to look per ticket, what would be a good way to start this problem if we're thinking per ticket? Monis?
What I would do is I'd first find the cost of each ticket, which is find the cost of 2 tickets divided by 2.
So we know the cost of each ticket, actually.
Oh, yeah.
But each person, so let's say like Andrew and I go to the race. Andrew's got a ticket and a service fee. I've got a ticket and a service fee that I got to pay. Andrew, how would you start?
I just found this out now. If you add the 17 by itself, because there's 2 tickets, which would end up being $24. No.
So if I double this,
$34.50, but that's not 38, and I can say that it's $4 for both, but then you have to divide that by 2 because there's 2 tickets and it ends up being $2 per ticket.
so we're thinking about what was the fee? Like, what did we pay as a fee? So Andrew processed through and said, well, if 1 ticket's $17.25, I can figure out that 2 tickets is $34.50, and the fee will be my $38.50 minus the $34.50. So we paid a total fee of 4 per ticket. Yeah, we divide by 2 and find out that we paid $2 as a fee for each ticket. So we want to talk about the percent change that made happen. So in this situation, my change was how much, Noah? Like from the price of the ticket to what I actually paid, what was the change? $2. What was the price before the change happened? $17.25. So to figure out that percent change, we're going to do the change over the previous.
Wait, I got this.
And do that division and find our value.
0.11594.
So then convert it to percent form. How do I convert to percent form, Jeremiah? Yeah, did you hear the question I asked? Because you were talking at the same time. How do I convert my decimal to a percent?
You multiply by 100.
Multiply by 100. This becomes 11 point, we can just round.
12.
Oh yeah, because it says to the nearest whole percent.
Yep.
So that would round all the way up to 12. So guys, I paid an extra 12% for the service fee. Even though it was only $2, 12% still kind of like, that's a decent chunk. Like, what the crap, dudes? But that's the problem. I don't have a choice. If I want that ticket, I gotta pay the service fee.
I mean, that kind of makes
Convenience
sense.
fee.
Stock car race.
It's the certain type of car. So there's Indy cars and Formula One cars.
In my
And,
head, when I thought of stock car, I thought of stocks.
yeah, oh,
I
funny.
thought of a box car.
So a stock car is kind of more, it's a little bit more boxy. It's kind of low to the, it's the ones that you see that have like all the stickers and stuff on them for like,
NASCAR.
yeah, NASCAR. If you ever watch a NASCAR race, that's like a stock car.
I literally thought of like a box.
All right, so try this on your own. Same basic setup. We're now going to travel. We buy 3 airplane tickets. Each ticket was $110. We paid in total after the service fee $353.10. This looks like a book that I would read.
I wish we could like vote. I think we should vote earlier at like 16 when we can have a car.
Yeah.
No, how old do you have to
Well,
be
you
to
think
get
we're
an ID?
responsible?
You can get an ID whenever you want. You can go get a state ID right now.
Oh, you can't.
It'll just say your birth date and who you are and your address. And your, well, it won't say your social anymore because they don't put those on.
What does it do for you?
If you want, like, you need to go somewhere and have identification to prove who you are.
Like you're like older, when you're older, you wear glasses.
Like when you're older, you use it. Like when I go travel tomorrow, I'm gonna have to have an ID to get on the plane. So I take my passport because it's the easiest form of identification for anybody. Like passports are worldwide, so if you have a passport, that's really good. So Whitney, how'd you start this process?
I'm not finished with it yet, but like first I took 353, 10, and minus it by 5.
Okay, so what was the cost?
253, 10, 10, and 10.
Be careful. You're missing one little thing here.
For all
3
3.
tickets, and each ticket cost $110. So we got to look at what we spent on just tickets. God, cards are not going to go well today because everybody's gone at orchestra. Sean?
Well, I multiplied the 110 just for the cost and multiplied by 3 since we bought the 330. Then I subtracted 353, which was the total of 7 cents. Subtracted that from the cost, which was 330, and I got $23.10.
So my fees for all 3 tickets combined was $23.10.
Why is it 10 cents?
Because there was 10 cents to start. I mean, just because what they charged me. So this is our fee total. So then we divide it by 3. $7.70. Then the last thing that we will need to do here. You are fine, Sam.
Was that my name?
No, but your name had already happened.
You would do $7.70 over $110.
Yeah, the change over what the cost was previously. Did you already calculate this?
Yeah.
What'd you get as your percent?
0.07, which equals 7%.
I got 90. I got something wrong.
Let me check. Try the example. Try the example and the got it.
I'm very sure I did something.
Be really careful because if you think the number comes out to be the same number, you're wrong. So do the work slowly.
So it's increased.
How did you turn that into a percent? What math did you do?
Minus this.
Why? But we already, that was the change.
Oh.
This is the ticket cost before the fee happens. So you pay for the ticket and then the fee. The fee's not actually part of the ticket price. So that's just ticket price. So when we go to find percent change, it's change over original. That was the original price before the fee got added.
Oh, so the change was just
Yeah, so that's why we set up the 770 over 110, because this was the previous amount.
Oh, now I got it.
And this is the change amount.
Oh, I got it.
So the first one, because we work with 100, it's a little easy. But so this is to kind of tease out the mistakes that people often think. If I get an item into my store and I increase the price by 100%, I doubled it. And then I want to put it on sale. Well, can I put it on sale for like 80% off since I had marked it up by 100%?
Yeah, no, maybe. I don't know.
I'm going to lose money if I do that. That's where you have to be careful. A percent increase and then a percent decrease are two very different things. Because, you with me?
Yeah, you said that a percent increase and a percent decrease are the same.
Yeah, I'm not asking, did you hear me? I'm saying, are you with me? Because multiple times when I look back there, you're chatting. So if you have something to like contribute to the class, we'd all love to hear it. Otherwise, you're disrespecting me. So, if I take 100 and I increase it by 20%, well, 20% of 100 is 20. So, my new value becomes 120. But then, I take that result and decrease by 20% of it. Elena?
So you would multiply it by
0.20.
Yeah, by 0.20.
I got it.
That change amount now comes out to be, well guys, make this easy. Hold on. 20%, think about 10%, which just moves the decimal, and then double it. So 20% is 24. So then my final result
96.
is not what I started with.
Oh my god, yes.
The percent increase and then a percent decrease are very different things. If the percent values are the same, they're doing different things. So what then, going back to my store problem, so I pull an item in for my store. Let's say I get a skateboard that I'm selling in my store, because like skateboards are about $100 if they're all a decent skateboard. So I have a $100 skateboard that I then increase the price by 100%. What will that?
200.
Yeah, because we said when you increase by 100, you really double. So this becomes 200. Then we decrease by 50%, which is 100. So we take away 100, and we end up at.
So it's the same answer.
So my percents here are different, and that's how I ended up at my beginning result. So here's the thing about with stores and marking up. When you mark up an item by like 100% or 200%, your mark down cannot be the same and cannot be anywhere close to it. It can normally only be about half of what your mark up was. Because if I mark something up by 200%, I triple the price. But then if I mark it down by like 70%, that like we get dangerous of when is my cut point where I lose money. So be careful as we prep for Phoenix Fair that you guys have thought this all through. So let's check the back. We are looking at buying a surfboard. Very fitting since I'm heading out to the West Coast.
Wait, when you go back?
Miami is Florida.
I know which one you want.
I will be back Sunday night. Our plane lands at 10:30, so I will probably be tired.
Because it's the prettiest one.
So We can't just choose the prettiest one. We are on a fixed income. So guys, put that stuff away. I've been pretty understanding, but just put it away. So, I want you guys, and you can work with partners or whoever's close to you, figure out the sale price of each of these boards. So hold on. So there's a lot to do here. Can I get focused for like 30 seconds? Then I'm going to release you guys to try this. You live in a state which this is cheap sales tax. We're like 7.5% around here. So suppose you're shopping for a new surfboard. You've got your old surfboard. Which surfboard can you afford to buy if the most you can spend is $300? So the first thing you have to do, like if we look at board one, is figure out what the sale price would be, and then figure out what you would actually pay, because you got to pay tax on a surfboard. If it was a hamburger, you wouldn't pay tax, but it's a surfboard.
What's
Yeah.
the sales tax here?
It's about 7 to 7.5%.
That's really I went to like
that much
DC and it's like 2.
It's not that much, but the more expensive of an item that you buy, the bigger difference it will make. So if you're buying a car,
Like a $400 thing.
yeah, like if you're buying a car, people will drive different places to buy a car with a low, like at a place with a lower rate. Okay.
Would you find the sales tax on the selling price or after you find?
After they've done the markdowns. Because think about how the store works. When you walk in and it's on sale, that price is like your subtotal, the sale price, then they put the tax on.
Oh.
Yeah, so they do their math first, then they add the tax on after the sale price.
That doesn't seem right. I think I need another zero.
Work with people, verify with each other.
Wait, why is today's price different? Okay, whatever.
Wait, can he trade in his board?
Yeah, you have the old surfboard, so if you choose to, you trade in your old board.
I figured out board 1.
I figured both out.
But they only give you $20 off for your old board, so that's kind of lame. Unless it's got like a shark bite out of it or something.
But you can still get it because it's pretty.
Because it's pretty.
I wouldn't even care about the sales tax. You didn't do anything with
I got
great. I think I got this all wrong. For sales tax. You need to find out sales tax and add it to that.
Dang it.
This is also why
definitely
sometimes
gets
less
all wrong.
distractions is better when you don't have goop slime stuff to play with. You might actually focus. And notice that I highlighted in bright fluorescent green that sales tax is part of this problem.
Sales tax is part of this problem.
Well, percent, right?
I got it.
6.25 is percent. What does percent tell you to do? Well, what does per tell you?
You can buy all of them.
Or
So
like
you want the
division.
pretty one.
I don't know.
For every is like division.
Which one's the pretty one?
How many cents
Blue
in
one.
a dollar?
No, it's the green one. No.
Yeah,
Green
well,
one.
from
Like,
percent to decimal, we just divide
no,
that.
green
It's
one.
much better than
It is.
seeing
It's
here.
like diarrhea. You want to write diarrhea.
What's
You are welcome. All right, so
That sounds good. Wait, can you hold on for a second?
sure.
Wait, like 3 seconds.
Don't
count.
1,000, 2.
Yeah, not 3. Okay.
I just want to say that I messed it up because I used to the high series means 200 and I didn't look at the figures, so.
Oh, I don't care if you messed up which you can afford. We want to make sure that you found the prices correctly. So guys, what makes me nervous is some of you have great work. You're writing out the process like what I show on the board and what we model all the time. Some of you are writing down like no work. So I'm going to warn you again. I'm going to start, if I get a test with no work, just answers, it's progressing. Until you at least come have a conversation and show me how you do the work. So it will save you time and make your life easier if you show me some work on your test so I can verify that you know what you're doing. I'm not saying you have to show out the work for every single question. I'm saying show work because these questions are not easy anymore. They take a process. Monica?
When you're showing work on the test, can you like first write the answer, then do how you did?
Sure, yeah. I am a really good detective. So finding where, like, or separate sheets of paper, like, I'm great at finding that
I
stuff.
think I got it.
So I just want you to do the work wherever you do it, however you decide to, that's up to you. So the board 1 normally sells for $385, but it's on sale for a fourth off. Sean, if I think about a fourth, what percent is that really?
0.25.
Well, 25%, but then yeah, when we use it for the math, it's 0.25. So if that's a fourth off, now here's another way to think about it and save time and make your life easier.
Divided.
If it's a fourth off, how much am I gonna pay? Colin?
You're gonna pay 3/4 of what the selling price is.
I'll pay 3/4 of the selling price. So you could either calculate the discount and subtract it, or just say I'm gonna pay, or sorry, the sale price will be 3/4 of the 385, which comes out to be, what's your sale price here? You have to.
$288.75.
Can anyone verify?
I got it right. Yay!
Yeah.
I went like
Now we're not done.
totally different.
Jeremiah Smith, what do I have to do now? We got our sale price.
Oh, you have to multiply it by. Oh crap! Yeah,
Why do you think I'm calling on you?
Because he screwed it up.
No, what you forgot to do, but now you should.
I fixed it.
I know. This is why I'm asking you to tell us, what did you fix?
100, and then you multiply it by.
So what Jeremiah is trying to get to saying, he forgot about tax. And that's when the Jeremiahs back there were like, oh, you got to do tax, you dummy. Like, whatever you guys are. You guys are funny. And it's also funny that you guys have the same name. But to do the tax, so Mr. Hohen, you helped him out.
Yes.
What is my tax rate?
Your
Not as a
rate
percent.
is 0.0625 multiplied by the sale price.
96.
I think.
96.
Yes,
I don't
and
think
the
that's
answer is something.
90.
102 point no.
I doubt I pay $100 in tax. That'd be a whole lot of
Oh
tax.
wait, no,
Lena?
for tax.
I think the tax is like about
It's like
$18.
$18. Like
It's-
$18.
Is it just
It's
$18?
It was
$18
18 and then like
It's
$6.
$6.
5 cents.
So, guys, hey, this doesn't work if we all talk at the same time. Elena.
So it was like $18 and some other decimals. So I just added it to this. So I just added the $18 to that, and then I rounded.
So if I went back and looked at your paper and asked you how much the tax was, would you be able to, like, do you have it?
No.
No. This is what I'm talking with writing your work down. How much time does it take you to jot down the number for tax? Like 5 seconds. So this was 18 what?
5 cents.
And 5 cents?
Yes.
So then we add the tax to the price that they have it marked at, and my final cost.
$306. $300.
What is it?
306.8
Zero.
D. 80.
Yes.
Mr.
That's right.
Hudson.
That's right.
Yes.
Right.
I screwed up, so I saw 1/4 off, and I just assumed it was a fourth of the selling price.
So correct it. If you made a mistake, correct it. Do we need more time to do red and blue board, or can we keep going?
Yes, please.
All right, take another minute or two.
Dang it.
Now that we have fixed the process, I encourage you, write out your work so you know what you're doing.
You have to wait like, oh gosh. I can't do that right now. So wait, would you use the selling price or today's price
For which?
for the blue one?
The blue one? So that's like them not telling you what percent they marked off. It's just like you walked in and there's a sale price already on it.
Okay, cool.
So the price that it was doesn't really matter anymore because it's on sale.
This will be a little. I'll be so
For the blue board, because didn't it say he has another board to replace?
Yeah, he can trade it in.
Do you take the $20 off?
If you're gonna trade in the board.
Do you do
And-
that before?
Before.
Before that?
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot.
Which is really good for the consumer because any discount I can get on the price before tax is applied saves me money on the tax. Question or answer?
Answer for the red one.
All right. So walk me through. What's the first thing that you did, Jeremiah?
So I got the sales tax. I did 100 or 6.25 divided by 100, and I multiplied that by 450
Why?
because you have to find the tax, and then
But that's not your subtotal.
this could go.
You're not focusing, dude. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but you're making silly mistakes. We've been talking multiple times. I've said tax applies to your subtotal after any discounts or anything else have affected the price. So I gotta figure out not the selling price tax, but the tax on what I'm actually gonna pay. So I need to first figure out what is the sale price of the board. It's 40% off, but I gotta calculate this.
Selling price is 450.
Oh shoot! Wait, no.
That's the normal, not the sale price. Whitney, what'd you do?
Would they, for the 40% off, would the answer be 270?
So you're asking it as a question.
Well, I got 270.
Okay. So I'm still gonna work it though because we have some other people with mistakes. So your discount amount, 40% of your 450. Guys, again, make it 10%, and then just multiply by 4. So 45 times 4, the discount amount that we get here is $180. To find the sale price, I take the 450 and get rid of that discount. And that comes out to be 270. Then we got to calculate the tax. How do I do that?
Times the 625.
Yeah.
Which is 0.06.
As decimal form times the subtotal amount gives me how much tax?
16.875.
So if we round that for money, it'd be $16.88. Then to find the final price that we're going to pay,
You add 270.
we do the 270 plus the 1688.
286.88.
286.88. Any questions? Just
a different way of finding the percentage. You could
finding the percent?
or like the percent off.
Okay.
So I did 450 divided by 100, and then I times it by 40.
So what you did was you found 1%
Yeah.
and then multiplied it. So that's fine. Yeah. Many right ways to get to Florida. One long flight to get to California. Well, 2 actually. We have a layover. Blue board, are we good? Or do we need any more time?
We're good.
Gone. Mr. Hone.
Oh yes.
Can you tell me what you did here?
Yeah. So selling price does not matter in this case because it's today's price that we need to look at.
So this is like on the price tag, the thing they want you to look at and be like, oh great, I don't pay that. So this, I love how you said it doesn't matter in this situation. It's just like that was their, and then it didn't sell, so now it's on sale. So continue.
And today's price is $295, but you get $20 off when you trade in your old board, which I'm assuming that he does have an old board that he traded in.
Yeah.
And that becomes $275 is your new price, but you also have to account for sales tax, which the rate for that is 0.0625, and you get, I need to do that part. You get $17.18.
Well, you pay. Saying you get is kind of
And
a.
then you add that price to your total price, which is $275, and you get something.
292.
I didn't do all of that part.
It's 292.19. He forgot to round up on the 18, so you got that wrong.
The cents needs to round up.
Yup.
Yeah.
So, sale price, tax rate, tax amount, final price. I'm not writing out as much work on this one. But like, even for you guys to show me this much work would make me very happy.
So wait.
You don't have to write out like everything in all detailed. Dude, chill.
Does it matter what board you buy if you buy board 1 or board 2?
Well, what we were asking is which can you afford to buy?
Okay, we're buying board 3.
I could afford the red one or the blue one.
The pretty one.
So the pretty one you can buy.
Which one's the pretty one?
Well, Sam likes the blue one.
The red one's
The blue one's
the blue
amazing.
The red one's ugly.
Yeah, but the green one looks the best.
No,
Yeah, the red doesn't.
Hey, so here's my question. Who can surf here? We're all talking about surfboards. All right, we have 2 minutes. Here's my challenge.
I did both.
This side, A first. This side, B first.
What if you did
Oh,
both
which side am I on?
That's fine.
already?
This side, so you're just because people, you guys are this
Okay.
side.
Sweet. Okay. Are we gonna go over?
Oh yeah. This is so when you wipe out, your surfboard doesn't like float out into the ocean. Tethers it to your ankle.
Yeah, so you don't fall.
Okay.
No.
So the surfboard doesn't go.
Yeah, so the surfboard doesn't float away.
Okay, 1/5 is equivalent to. Oh, I know what that's equal.
Oh, it's still such
They can help you save our water.
What? Because I was thinking. That's why.
This tastes like a banana.
Wait, what?
I'm gonna give you 30 more seconds because I'm running out of time.
It isn't
bananas. I love the delete buttons on calculators.
I really like these yellow calculators. I think they are.
I like mine because mine's big.
So Ashley, just to start talking, you can keep working. If we are saving a fifth, or if we get a fifth off, how much am I gonna actually pay? Not dollar amount, but what portion?
4/5
You maybe didn't hear that I asked it to Ashley. But yeah, so if I have the whole price and I take a fifth away from it, we're going to pay 4/5. So your two main options here are you could either calculate the discount and subtract it, or just say my sale is actually going to ask me to pay 4/5 of the price, $14.99. And that comes out, what's 4/5 of $14.99? You could also think of this as like $15 and make your math a whole lot easier. So Whitney, this came out to be,
do you want the answer?
yeah.
1275.
We all got different answers.
I got
I think it should
I got
just be,
$10.50.
I got $3.25
$12.59.
I mean,
So-
and 19
Isn't it
cents.
4/5 is what you're paying, right?
yeah, 4/5 of that price.
Oh,
that's
shoot,
$12.59.
dang it, I screwed up again. I did 1/5 off
Yeah.
again.
Me too, I did too.
So it comes at,
Both Jeremiah.
if I made this 15,
Oh, that's what I made it 50.
I could divide by 5 and then multiply by 4. 15 divided by 5 is 3, times 4 is 12. But if I use the $14.99 in my calculator, this comes out to be $11.99.
Oh yeah, that's what I was looking at the wrong one.
But then, Sean?
Oh, I was gonna say the next one because I was least.
So the tax here, I have to take my discounted price and multiply it by 0.0625. Graphics up, I forgot to hit multiply. We pay 70, if I round up, 75 cents in tax. And my total price is $12.74. Sean, because we're out of time, what was your final price over here for B?
$13.38.
$13.38. Can anyone verify?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can afford ours, but you can't afford yours.
So again, here your other option would be if you save 30%, we could say that we're paying 70% of that $17.99.
HP was probably pretty good.
Thank you guys. Have a great day. Please prep for our test tomorrow and be kind to the guest teacher. Huh? No, there's no more practice. Just wrap up your 3-5, 3-6. Because 3-7 was just more application. I put that stuff into that last chapter 3 homework. So like 356 could honestly have been called 3567. Like,
It feels like whenever we have a
So, when are we gonna take the test? Because we're gonna be